Aminta, Kilawan-Narine. I am founder and executive director of South Queens Women's March, also co-founder of Sadhana, and just a community member who cares about what's going on in our neighborhoods. First of all, thank you so much to HFHR for including us in this conversation and for caring enough to be doing the work week after week. I know you all have been going to Mandirs in our local community here and in the Bronx and elsewhere, New York City wide, and that's really important work because there are a lot of people that are living in fear right now and have been living in fear for a long time and don't know where to turn and don't trust people for valid reasons and don't trust resources for valid reasons. And a lot of times people come into our community to exploit, but I think the people that are in this space are here to do the exact opposite and to provide support. So thank you for that. I want to preface this by saying I'm not an immigration attorney. I am an attorney, but I'm not an immigration attorney, so by no means am I an expert in any of the immigration law related aspect of anything that I'm going to talk about. But I also just first wanted to give a perspective on Janmashtami. So I am now finally a mom. I struggled for Rohan and I struggled for many years to have children of our own. And although I find that so many members of our community, I would consider them children of mine, but I just never had the honor to be a mom to my own biological children. And Tushan, who is our son, is actually my 8th child. If we considered all of this, is the first time I'm actually publicly talking about this, but he's my 8th child if I think about all the losses of babies I had before him. So, and Lord Krishna is the 8th child of Vasudeva and Devaki. And I don't think that's any coincidence, and I think Tushan looks like Lord Krishna, but it brings me a lot of joy to sit here and say that this child is my 8th child, and Nanda, who's our daughter, who was born after Tushan, so technically therefore is my 9th child. Her name is Nanda, and Lord Krishna's second father is named Nanda, and the day after, and Sunny flagged this, the day after Janmashtami is Nanda Utsav. So it just feels like, you know, a very nice, auspicious time for our family. But I think a lot about a mother's love in this time that we are living in, and I think about every minute that I spend away from my children, even literally right now, and how I feel being away from them. And I think about the ways in which families are separated from their children right now and how absolutely unacceptable and unconscionable that is. And we got to do something about that. And we've been trying, but I think the struggle is when you're up against a government that is so hateful, you're up against the odds of, I mean, it's a constant struggle. And what ends up happening is we as community members have to protect our own. We have to stand up. We literally have to like encircle our people, physically encircle them to make sure that they are protected and make sure they're not taken and torn apart from those that they love and those that they care about. And so, but we do have rights. Even those who are undocumented have rights in this country. The United States Constitution enshrines 2 specific rights that I think immigrants who are questioning what their rights are should know about right now. 1 is equal protection under the law, and 2 is due process, right? So with that, when experiencing or in the face of ICE, it's very important to remember that silence is golden. So I think the less anybody says in that moment, better, because anything you say, you hear it all the time, anything you say can and will be used against you, right? And so making sure that you are not saying anything that could potentially be used against you. You might think in the moment that this is the right thing to say, but then they use it against you. Trust nobody in this situation. So silence is golden, and also remember to that you don't have to open your doors, right? That's the other thing that I think people, unless there's a warrant, right? So you have a right against unlawful and unreasonable searches and seizures, and what that means is they can't force their way into your home without a warrant. And I know Sherry's like, I don't know if you're saying the right thing or not. Sherry's gonna check me. Sherry is not a lawyer, but she's way smarter than me when it comes to this stuff. But I defer to the experts. But what I will say is that at the end of the day, we need to, as community members, stand up for one another and make sure that we are spreading the right information and also not unreasonably scaring people too, because a lot of gossip happens. Like, I can't tell you how many times I've heard gossip that actually was found to be untrue, and then community members get really scared. They get scared even to go to their own temple spaces because they think, and validly are scared, because under Trump, temple spaces are no longer sanctuary spaces, even if they name themselves as such, right? So we do have to be careful. And it's also up to the leadership of those temple spaces to make sure that they are protected, even though the law of the land, the federal law would say otherwise. So we have to be really smart as a community, and encouraging everybody who's tuning in, who's here and beyond, to find ways to get this information to our community. We have to be the ones to do that, not external parties, because people trust us. And that's really important. So with that, I'm gonna just also sing something, because I was told to do that. I'm always told to do things, and I'm still the obedient daughter, sister, whatever person. Although I'm fighting that identity to be more of a rebel, but that's not in my nature. Yeah, I think you can try, but the thing is,
or if you want to do it from your phone, whatever you want. I can try from.
You know what? I could try it on my phone. Let me try that. It's a small crowd, and I think we can all hear each other. Okay, hold on. So, you know, and I also think, you know, Lord Krishna was born in prison, and I think about the story of Lord Krishna and the way in which he was carried to safety, and how beautiful that story is, and how he ended up with different parents who took care of him and loved him. And you know, you see the image of Lord Krishna always with this loving mom, and you see the images we're seeing on a national level and at a local level of families being torn apart, and how devastating that is. So I think also as Hindus, we have a moral obligation to stand up to protect families at this point. So, yeah. Okay, we're gonna try this. I think I have to stand, because it's not gonna come out. I don't sing a lot lately, only to my children. यशोमती मैया से बोले नंदलाला, राधा क्यों गोरी मैं क्यों काला, राधा क्यों गोरी मैं क्यों काला, यशोमती मैया से बोले नंदलाला, राधा क्यों गोरी मैं क्यों काला, राधा क्यों गोरी मैं क्यों काला, बोली मुस्काती मैया नंदन को बताया, बोली मुस्काती मैया नंदन को बताया, काली अंधियारी आधी रात में तो आया, लाद ला कन्हैया मेरा लाद ला कन्हैया मेरा, काले कमली वाला किसी ने काला, यशोमती मैया से बोले नंदलाला, राधा क्यों गोरी मैं क्यों काला, राधा क्यों गोरी मैं क्यों काला. Thank you so much, and I look forward to being here for a bit and listening and learning as well. Thanks, everybody. Namaste.